Hello, everyone. Welcome to Locker Room Stories, episode 2. And today we are going to talk about an amazing test match that happened in Kanpur. We all know what happened on the first 3 days. I think on the first day, Bangladesh scored 107 for 3. And after that, pretty much rain affected the next 2 days. But what we didn't think of is what happened on the next 2 days. And I have Arpit with me, who's going to talk with me about the same game. And Arpit, as you know, it was a phenomenal game. What are your first thoughts about the game?
Yeah, I mean, seeing the first 3 days, how the match went, and it was all like rain affected game. So there is like getting result from there. It was almost an impossible thing. I never thought of like there will be result out of the last 2 days. So it's a pretty much roller coaster for me as well.
Yeah, so for all our viewers who didn't catch the match, I think India won the match after 2 days being rained out. Absolutely phenomenal performance by so many players. The batsmen stood up, the bowlers stood up. It was a phenomenal example of Test cricket at its best. So I think just for our viewers, I'll repeat the scorecard. I think in Bangladesh, I think scored. Let me just check once. Bangladesh scored 233 in the first innings, but nobody even thought that in reply to that, India will go all guns blazing, and they scored like 285 for 9. And again, I repeat myself, they scored that in just 34.4 overs. That was an absolute phenomenal performance. I think Rohit Sharma and Jaiswal just set the tone. Jaiswal getting an amazing 72 or 51 balls. Rohit Sharma getting a 200 plus strike rate, and everyone playing aggressively. I have never seen this brand of cricket from India before, and it was just phenomenal. There's so much talk about baseball and all kinds of stuff from England and other experts, but I think this is completely different level of cricket. I think this is even beyond baseball. I would call it gamball because of Gautam Gambhir, who is our new coach. It was an absolute phenomenal batting display. What do you think about the batting display of India? I think there's not much to talk about the Bangladeshi batting displays, but what do you think about the batting display of India in the first innings of the Test match, Arpit?
Yeah, so how Bangladesh started, they were pretty much going for a draw, I guess. Like seeing their approach in the first inning, they were just blocking the balls, keep on defending. So I think they are just about to go and maybe go for a draw in that match.
Yeah,
But when they got all out, India got the batting, and the way Rohit Sharma started along with Jaiswal, I mean, it just set up the tone, as you said, and then followed by the middle order batsmen. No one came with the approach of like maybe they have to score their own runs. Everyone came up with the approach like they have to score, run quickly for the team, and set a good score that can be useful for India as a lead in the second inning as well. So probably KL Rahul, I can think of as a good bat, like who batted really well in the middle order, came up and ended up like an inning of more than 50 runs with a striker of 150. Like we never see that in Test cricket nowadays.
yeah, yeah. I think going back to Bangladeshi innings, I think we need to mention Mominul Haq, who got 100. I think that was a great performance. I know he Bumrah made him dance on many occasions, but unfortunately he didn't get. I mean, fortunately for him, he didn't get the nick, and then he made it count. I think he got 107. I think he played the spinners really well, and probably Indian captain missed the trick because he didn't introduce spin at the right times, and whenever a spin was introduced, I think the player fielders were not in the right positions. But I think we can't really blame Rohit Sharma because apart from that one innings, I don't see anything from Bangladesh really. It was just a timid display where they just wanted to block every ball and just go for a draw, right? I mean, any
Yeah.
comments on Rohit Sharma's captaincy there? I mean, we need to talk from the entire game perspective. So looking at the Indian batting, then bowling again, Bangladesh out within like 150. What do you think about the display of Rohit Sharma as a captain?
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. I think with the bat, he's been doing great in the last few test matches. And
Yeah,
with the bowling, I just think like maybe he's too much stuck with his particular bowlers. Like as you said, the spinner were introduced so late, and I
yeah,
was watching out the match, and like till the first drinks break, India was keep on bowling with the same spell of two bowlers. Like there was
yeah,
Bumrah and Siraj were continuously bowling, and then Akashdeep was there for a short spell,
yeah,
but again, it's maybe it's about the conditions that he was able to assess better here, better at the ground. Probably
Yeah.
as a viewer we can't assess that, but again it's about the results. So India got the
Yeah.
results, so you can't blame the captaincy that much. So that's
Yeah.
that.
So just repeating the scores. I think Bangladesh got 233 all out in the first innings. India got 285 for 9 declared. That gave them a 50-run lead, and then they bowled out Bangladesh for 146, leaving like 90, 95 to chase. And I mean, India got it easily with just 3 wickets down. I think India probably would have done it in 10 overs had Rohit Sharma not been dismissed. But I think Rohit Sharma went for an expansive start, and we can't really blame him. I think he uh, just wanted to play that same brand of cricket throughout the match. So I think, I mean, looking back at the Bangladeshi second innings, anything to note in that innings? I think the one thing I noticed is that Rohit Sharma in the second innings, I think, rotated the bowlers really well. I think he brought on Jadeja at the right time. He brought on Akashdeep at the right time, which basically broke the partnership that was getting developed. I think it was. Let me just check the scorecard. I think it was between Shanto and Rahim, which was getting developed, and eventually Ravindra Jadeja dismissed Shanto, and that really opened the floodgates. And everyone like wicket, I mean, when wicket after wicket started falling, and eventually they got bowled out for 146. Anything to say on that particular innings?
I mean, in second inning, probably Shadman Islam played really well. He got a half century, so that's like it's similar to Mominul what he did in the first inning. Again, Shadman was holding an end and he was playing his
Yeah.
shots and getting run for Bangladesh. But the middle order was like completely collapsed there. And if you see batting from Leighton Das, Mehdi Hassan Miraj, probably Shakib as well, it's a good experience score, but again they are not showing up on the big occasions.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think I think Bangladeshi middle order. I mean, there was so much talk about Bangladeshi team just like absolutely destroying Pakistan in their backyards. But I think everyone knew coming to India, it's going to be a different challenge. I think India have now won 18 series in a row. That's a phenomenal record. It's like
yeah,
around 4,000. I think 4,000 plus days where they have not lost a Test series at home. I
yeah,
think that's a phenomenal record. I mean that's even prime Australia or prime West Indies haven't been able to achieve this. So I think this Indian team is just phenomenal. I mean, all formats of the game. I think this team has been just setting miles. I mean, just achieving milestone after milestone. I think the only thing that is left now is the World Test Championship. I think they are well on their way to getting to the final. I think they need to win. Probably they need to win the next 3 Test matches against New Zealand, and they'll be in the final. Even if they lose like one Test match, they just need to win one more Test match against Australia, and they will be in the final. I think they need to win. I think 3 out of 8.
yeah.
That is what they need to achieve. What do you think about the current situation in the World Test Championship?
Yeah, I think India is in very strong situation, seeing the table, because they have again 3 matches at home remaining, and New Zealand they have troubled India, but not in India.
Yeah,
So that will be a easy walk for India, and they might end up again in the top of the table of the WTC table. And and that I think that's a better thing as well, because you're going the last series is in Australia, and you're going there in their home. Yeah, I
yeah,
know they have won the last 2 series, but again it's about going to other conditions and adapting. So probably it's a good buffer for India as well, so they can play without pressure there, and can get grind results as well, right? So
yeah,
that's probably a good thing. A good fact came to my mind is like the India last lost a Test series when I was in my high school. So
yeah.
I was in my ninth grade when India lost the last series. So
Yeah,
that's
that was I think
probably a
2012 or 13 against England. That
yeah
was, and that team was just
2013.
phenomenal. That the England
Yeah,
team was just phenomenal because there was Kevin Peterson, there was, I believe, there was Flintoff, Alistair Cook got loads of runs in India. I mean,
yeah,
that team was really good, and we didn't have a strong bowling attack at that time.
yeah,
I think we had an average bowling attack, which probably only suited. I mean, we only had a spin attack at that time. Really, we didn't have the fast
right.
bowlers to really match England at that time. So I think we crumbled under pressure and we lost that series. But I think since then, I think it's been just one way street. I mean, we have been winning Test match after Test match in India. I think The only test match that comes to my mind was, I think, Chennai, or I believe, I don't remember the venue, but I think where Root scored a double hundred and India lost that match.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I think
that
India have won probably. Oh, sorry, it was Ollie Pope that scored something 150 plus, where we lost the
yeah,
test match. Otherwise, we have been
one
constantly winning.
ninety six. I
Yeah,
guess, to be precise, 196 was the
yeah,
score
yeah. So I
in
think,
Chennai.
yeah, that was the only test match that we won recently. Otherwise, we have been constantly winning. One more talking point was, I think, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli's form. I don't think so. There's anything wrong with Virat Kohli's form. He got a 40 odd in the first innings, and then he backed up with a 29 not out in the second innings. I don't understand this whole nonsense about Virat Kohli not performing at the highest level. You have been getting so many runs. I mean, you tend to fail at some stage in your career. I mean, you score in one days, then you don't score in tests. You score in tests, you don't score in one days. It happens with every player. I think every player is really good at one format and peaks in one format, while he might suffer in other formats of the game, and that's natural. I think one only worrisome point for me would be Rohit Sharma's form, and I think it's not just form. I think he has to focus on his captaincy also, and that's taking a toll on him. I think he has to set the tone for the team, and he's probably sacrificing his wicket too early by taking risks. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rohit Sharma, he's playing a different brand of cricket. Obviously, since the last World Cup 2023, he's been playing aggressive cricket, be it T20, be it one day, or even in Test. So I think
Yeah,
he'll continue playing the same way. Maybe he'll not get a big hundreds or big double hundreds, but probably he'll just get a quick 40, 50, and set
yeah,
the match for the other player. And coming to Virat Kohli as well, I mean, in this test match, India has that requirement of playing fast, like they were going aggressive behind the score, and in that situation everyone is just going like coming out on the pitch and hitting out, right? So in those scenarios, you can't just blame a player like he's not getting big runs. I mean, he get a good 47. If he go on like a selfish player way, he could have got a hundred as well, right?
yeah,
And scored a big runs. But that's not the requirement of the team. So
yeah, yeah.
probably there is change in management. They have a other mindset. So probably he'll get big runs
Yeah,
on,
yeah. I
on big
think
occasions.
Yeah, I think he will be all right. I think in Australia he will take it.
Yeah,
He will score. I mean, kind of. He's going to be slow. Obviously, he wants to get the team to a good start, and Australia is not an easy place to start quick. I think there's a series with New Zealand before that, so I think I am sure against New Zealand he will score big runs. Because probably
yeah,
the bigger the team, I think the better Rohit Sharma performs. So I think he will definitely
yeah,
score against New Zealand and Australia, and I'm sure Virat Kohli is also going to score big runs against Australia and New Zealand. So I think they will be back. I think India have pretty much sealed their position in the World Test Championship final, barring any disasters. I don't think so. India is going to lose all three Test matches, or India is going to lose like against Australia too many Test matches. Probably they just need like to win two of the three Test matches against New Zealand and one against Australia, and they'll be in the final. I think the interesting battle is for the second place now. If India end up battering Australia in their own backyard, then probably even Sri Lanka, England, and South Africa are not out of it. Because if they win all their test matches, probably they will end up in the second position. So I think it's all dependent on India Australia series. I think that's going to be a key series for both the teams. I think India
yeah.
is pretty much done, but I think they will just set the tone for the final, and they will just put a marker down that we are here to win the championship, and that's all they would like to do. What do you
Yeah,
think about
even
the World Test
even
Championship situation, Arpit?
yeah, I was checking out the schedule, and one interesting thing that came to me is that Australia has a away tour at Sri Lanka, and the
Yeah,
way Sri Lanka is playing right now, it will not be easy for Australia. But again, it's we are talking about Australia. They always stood up on big occasions, but they are going in the home of Sri Lanka, who has been in phenomenal form. They've beaten New Zealand, they've beaten India as well in the white ball cricket, right?
yeah,
So they are in good form. So if somehow Australia didn't get the result out in Sri Lanka and India go on and win at Australia, so it's a big chance that Sri Lanka can go into the finals. And
yeah,
even South
absolutely.
Africa has, because they have like 5 matches left against probably three against Pakistan, and yeah, something like that. So I don't remember the other two
Yeah,
fixtures,
yeah.
but probably some team which they can be good, like they can go heavy and end up winning.
Yeah, I think I mean that's it from the England, India Bangladesh series. I think it was a good display of I mean cricket by India. I think overall in both. I mean Ashwin winning the man of the series again. I mean that's phenomenal record. Now he has been winning man of the series after man of the series awards. He has been like he's won multiple awards now. So that's
Yeah.
phenomenal. And he's no younger now. He's like 38 years old. So he's been doing amazingly well. Moving on, I think we will now go back to the Sri Lanka New Zealand Test match. I think we all knew what the result was going to be, but I think what I was surprised with was New Zealand batting for so long and giving some amazing fight to the Sri Lankan team. I think they lost the Test match by innings and 154 runs, but what they did in the last innings was just phenomenal. I think everyone batted aggressively, and notably, I think Phillips and Tom Blundell and I think Santner also got a few runs. I think that was a phenomenal rear guard action from the New Zealand team. What do you think about that match, Arpit?
Yeah, I was watching out the highlights, and the New Zealand batting was pretty much going aggressive,
Yeah,
and also even Conway got good runs on the top. So
yeah,
he, like, unlike like Rohit Sharma, he set up the tone for New Zealand, not in much faster way, but again going with a good strike rate. And even Kane Williamson played really well, I
yeah.
guess, in the second. And the way they got out in the first inning, it's really good to see them coming back and playing for their pride at least, and giving a tough fight to Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I mean we have already spoken about Camilo Mendes. I think he has a Bradman-esque record. I just feel that it's too early to compare him to someone like a Bradman or a Joe Root or a Virat Kohli. I think he needs to do this for many years, and I don't think so. He has played tougher opposition. I think he needs to go to
Yeah,
Australia. He needs to go to England. He needs to go to India and get big runs. I think that's when you really judge a player. I think you can't judge a player just by looking at him at his home turf. I think you need to look at everything. And Sri Lanka have not been playing quality opposition after quality opposition. I think they've been playing against. I think New Zealand has never performed well in the subcontinent. So I think you can pretty much say that that was all on the cards. And the first and the second day, I think the wicket was flat. There was nothing there.
yeah,
But I think notable performances from Prabhat Jayasuriya. Also, he took like 9 wickets in the match, which is like great. What do you think about his? I think he's the man of the series also. What do you think about his
yeah.
performance?
Yeah, see, so Jayasuriya always, he, as I said in the last episode as well, he's always good in his home condition. Where whoever the opponent is, it doesn't matter. He always perform well in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's like he's playing in his backyard and enjoying the game. But again, he's not that kind of a bowler, I guess, who go on all condition and take wickets,
yeah, yeah.
right? Because records outside home are not that much good, which I
I think
have seen.
compare. I think the comparison that comes to my mind is I think with Akshar Patel and Kuldeep Yadav. I think he's that kind of a bowler. I think Kuldeep Yadav you can't really say because Yadav has a lot of variations, and he is really phenomenal since since his ball started bowling a little faster. He's become phenomenal. I think he's pretty much similar to Akshar Patel, where he sticks to a particular line and length, and then one ball which is natural variation turns or doesn't turn, and he gets a wicket.
Yeah,
So I think he's pretty much like that. He's also a slow left arm orthodox. So I think
yeah,
that's what he brings to the table. Anyways, that's all from Sri Lanka, New Zealand. I think the only other notable cricket that happened was Australia, England. Obviously, Australia won a rain curtailed match, and they eventually took the series 3-2. What are your thoughts
yeah.
from that game?
Yeah, like the match started really well for England. The Ben Duckett and Harry Brook, they started really well. They have a good total on the board. I guess it was 300 plus, 309 to be precise. And then the rain came, and
Yeah,
like Australia started really well. Travis Head didn't get good big runs, but still
yeah,
Australia managed to get big runs. And again, due to the rain, they won it on the DRS, which
yeah.
is pretty much, I mean, it's more of a luck factor, but again, they have done well in their innings so that they can get that advantage as well.
I mean, if you look at the scorecard, you will laugh because I think, as usual in England, always they start well. They score
Yeah,
like, I mean, again, if you look at the fall of wickets, they were like in 24 overs, they were like 202 for three when Brooks' wicket fell. And from then on, I think there was a big collapse. And at the end, I think Adil Rashid and Jacob Bethel added few runs. Otherwise, it was all like going downhill for England. I mean, that's
Yeah.
quite funny because they start really well, and this baseball cricket, I mean, they just you don't use their brains sometimes, and they just stick to the same aggressive brand of cricket, and they just lose their wickets. I think if they would have got like 350, no, there was no chance that Australia would have won that game, especially with the DLS method coming into the picture. I think
Yeah.
Australia got like Australia won by like 49 runs. So you can imagine like in 20 overs they got like 165 for two. So I think wicket was not bad, which shows from the start that England got. But I think they just kept on losing wickets, and I mean they went from 202 for three, 202 for two in fact, to
Yeah.
like 238 for six. So you can imagine
Yeah.
the kind of collapse they had. I think it was like poor display in the middle by England, and that cost them the game.
Even I was expecting a 340 plus score, but then again, that collapse happened and they just eventually end up at 300 or some
Yeah.
309, right? So that's pretty much their story. They've always been like in from good situation, they try to make sure like the things get worse, not in the good way, right?
Yeah, this is quite
And
similar to what they did in India when they were like they
yeah,
won the first test match, and the second test match India were reeling with three or four wickets down, and they didn't capitalize on that. And from
yeah,
then I even in another test match I remember Root tried to play a reverse sweep when they were like 200 odd for three, and
yeah,
from then on they just lost the test match. They just couldn't get a lead in the first innings, and they lost the test match. I mean, I just don't. I mean, I understand baseball, but I think baseball has to have some kind of. I mean, you need to have a little bit of understanding of the game when you even when you play baseball, and you need to play the situation sometimes. You can't just go
yeah,
hell for leather every time and just try to hit everything out of the park. I think that's the key takeaway for me from that game. And I think England, Australia, India are like in terms of talent, we are at the same level. But I think what shows out is really a professionalism from India and Australia, whereas England is still lacking in that department. I think they don't have a
yeah,
strategy in place apart from this aggressive nature of cricket, which really leads to their downfall in most matches. I think they are losing in one day, they are losing in T20, they are losing in test matches. I think the baseball has not improved them in terms of victories. I think its victories have not really, the number of matches they win has not really changed. What do you think
yeah.
about that? What do you think about the baseball in general?
Yeah, I think baseball is. I don't know like what their approach is exactly. Like they go aggressive and even if you see their setup, the team setup, they are more towards like okay, we will go and put all rounders, more of like who can bowl and bat and stuff like that. And for that they have the approach like okay, you go, you play attacking shots and even in power play that you can understand okay you are playing aggressive and you're trying to score big runs, but once like the field is open, teams have the strategies, their plannings, right? So in those scenarios you can't just go and keep on hitting, so that eventually end up in losing wickets. So baseball in general it's a good thing, but situational play is also a very key thing in cricket. You
Yeah,
can't just go and always go with the plan A. You should have plan B, plan C, right? And
yeah,
that's something they are still lacking, I think,
yeah.
and probably that's what keeping them away from winning maybe big titles.
And a word on my favorite player before we go. I think we all know. I think Bumrah is probably now definitely one of the best bowlers in the world in all formats. I mean, there's no doubt
Yeah,
about it. He has been taking wickets on bad. I mean, he's been taking wickets on wickets that support spin, that support pace, that don't have anything for the bowlers. He still takes the wickets. What do you think about Bumrah? Do you think he's the
yeah, I
best bowler
think
in the world right now?
yeah, he's definitely the best bowler, and even in rankings as well, he's the best bowler now.
Yeah,
So today morning, ICC just released their latest ranking, and Bumrah has been now the number one test bowler as well. And
yeah,
I've seen Bumrah bowling on flat decks, on spinning tracks. Even he's picking up wickets on a spinning track as well. So that's really show the skill of a bowler. And it's not just like you are going into England or in the seaming conditions and you're just taking wickets. It's about taking wickets and bowling well as well, right?
yeah,
So I've never seen him going away for like 20 runs over and then just keep on coming up with pace and just throwing balls at the batsman.
yeah, yeah.
He's a very mindy bowler. He uses mind pretty well, and And he
Yeah.
said in an interview as well. One day I was watching an interview of him. He said, I will rather take a four and then change my strategy, and instead of hitting a batsman four fours to me.
Yeah.
So that really show how a bowler like how a bowler like Bumrah's brain work. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
I think his real skill comes on display when there's nothing happening on the wicket, and then he bowls a slower ball. I think I
Yeah,
remember him dismissing Ollie Robinson in that Lord's Test match, the famous Lord's win that we got, where he just bowled a
yeah,
slower ball right in the middle and trapped him in front. I mean, that was a phenomenal ball. And in fact, England were like about to like draw the Test match. They're just like 7 or 8 years left, 8 overs left in the day, and
yeah.
Bumrah ball, that magical delivery, we just opened the game up again, and India then just finished off the English team in that game. I think that's the real display of skill. Anyways, interestingly, you pointed out Test rankings. That brings now Yashasvi Jaiswal is on second position in the
Yeah,
batting rankings, and Kohli has climbed up to sixth position. So that's
yeah.
and people are talking about him not being in form. I mean, and you can see on the ICC top 10 he's still there. So I think he's I mean he's definitely going to score big runs very soon, and I hope that's going to happen in the New Zealand series at home.
Yeah, even Virat Kohli, if he is not scoring big, he's scoring enough runs that is pretty higher than
Yeah.
like players' averages or like players' annual run, I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
say.
I think he gets
Because
those 40s and 50s. He rarely gets
yeah,
continuous dismissals under 10 or 20. He constantly gets those 40s, 50s in between. I think the difference between him in 2016 and now is that he's not getting those big hundreds, which he used to
yeah,
constantly get match after match, innings after innings. So I think that's where I think people have started looking at those like the historical periods where when they should be actually looking at Kohli in the later stage of his career, where he is really playing for the team, not for himself. Right? He has achieved enough records. He has now gone past 27,000 runs, and he's the fastest batsman to get there, and he's
yeah.
also surpassed Tendulkar there. I mean, I know a funny debate again. Joe Root being compared to Virat Kohli. I mean, Joe Root might maybe he's better in England and better in other conditions, but Australia has not scored any runs. I don't understand how he can be a better batsman than Virat Kohli. It's just a stupid comparison by the English just to compare him with Virat Kohli. I mean, Virat Kohli, if you look at across all formats, there's no way you can compare Virat Kohli to Joe Root. What do you
I
think?
think I think another thing which I see with Joe Root is like he's playing in the way Virat Kohli used to play in 2015 to 2019.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like that very good patch of a cricketer. So maybe he's enjoying that, and probably like after some time he eventually gonna get failures as well in the series.
Yeah, and some idiots
So
also comparing Joe Root to Tendulkar. I mean, that's like absolutely stupid. I mean, if Joe Root was facing Wasim Akram, Jason Gillespie, Glenn McGrath, all these bowlers, Curtly Ambrose, Courtney Walsh at their peak, Joe Root would have not scored 100 in any country. I mean,
definitely.
that would have been the level of bowlers that he had to face. I mean, you can't really compare these legends of the game to, I mean, mere mortals like today's players. I mean, Sachin Tendulkar, Brian Lara, all these players were at a different level. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think even if like from my point, it's a very simple, straightforward end to it. Right now we have Fab Four, Fab Five, right? Playing
yeah,
Steve Smith, Williamson, Virat Kohli, then Joe Root, even in some point Babar Azam as well.
yeah,
But at the time of Sachin Tendulkar, you might see a Sachin and a Brian Lara. That's it.
yeah,
So there's if the bowlers are that much easy to play, there might be four five big players or like big
yeah,
scoring players, but there's no one. And it's not that there are not players. Even in India, you take the example. There's Ganguly, there is Rahul Dravid, who's really good in tests, right?
yeah,
You have Virendra Sehwag. England talk about baseball. I think they should watch Virendra Sehwag playing in 1995 or probably 19
yeah.
2000, and they might understand like baseball was still there at that time. It's working with Virendra Sehwag.
Yeah, 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 exactly. And another thing is important thing is that Tendulkar played 200 Test matches over a period of 24 years. That's amazing
Yeah,
longevity. I mean, Joe Root has played like 146 test matches in like, I believe, like 9 or 10 years. I mean, if so many test matches were available to Tendulkar, probably he would have scored
Yeah,
40,000 runs instead of the 15,000 that he has scored right now. So I think you can't really just compare like that. I mean, and comparison is always not good. I mean, Joe Root is a good player. Virat Kohli is a great player. Sachin Tendulkar was a legend of the game. You can't really compare these players. I mean, you will. I mean, now if someone starts playing aggressively and scores big runs, you will start comparing him to Vivian Richards. I mean, that's not a fair comparison. I mean, that's what I feel. Anyways, I mean, I think it's about time. I think thank you so much for sticking around. In the next episode, I've been telling you all, but definitely in the next episode, we'll cover soccer. We will
yeah,
basically cover Champions League. We'll cover the Europa League, where United has been playing miserably, and Bruno Fernandes has been getting red card after red card every match. I mean, that's quite funny to see that. Being a United fan, it's really pathetic, but unfortunately, we have to deal with that. Anyways,
yeah.
thank you
I
so
mean, there
much.
is,
Please share, like, and subscribe to this channel.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
go ahead. You want to
definitely.
say something?
Yeah, I was just saying, like, there is lot of happening in soccer, so probably we need a big time for that. But these events happened very quickly, like the test matches and the one day match. So it's pretty much good. We have covered this earlier. So
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
think we will.
definitely
Yeah,
stick tuned to us for the upcoming soccer review.
yeah.
And
I think we will probably do multiple episodes. I think we'll cover Premier League separately. We will, I think, cover Champions League and Europa League in one episode, and
yeah.
then we will close out. Anyways, thank you so much. Please share, like, and subscribe to this channel. We are Locker Room Stories. Thank you. Bye
Yeah.
bye.